Hello everybody and welcome back to Halo 5 Forge, Halo 5 Guardians. Since the last time that we did some Halo 5 forging, I've done a few little changes, a few little tidy ups and stuff like that. First things first is I've changed every single block to this Forerunner style. I was getting to the point now where I felt the need that I felt the need to actually start getting this in the area that I want it to start going to. I've forgotten a block here. The reason why I've done this is just literally just to get it to a place where I feel comfortable with. Now, the reason why I haven't done Halo 5 Forge in a few days or so, and hang on a second while I just make sure we've got all of our follow stuff. For some reason, I just sorted it out before the stream, but for some strange reason it's defaulted back again. There we go. So that's the one thing that I've done. I've done also a few other things. Tied up these so these connect properly. These used to be slightly. These actually used to be out one more block, but I've actually sorted that out now, and it's now connecting to this. Although I'm not sure whether that's actually going to be the end product, because I know that there's going to be a few things that I do want to change there. I'm going to be showing you a slideshow in a minute of some of the ideas that I was thinking about, because I've been struggling quite a bit with sort of the overall process of this. I've been trying to figure out exactly what I actually want to be going with here for this map. So I went on to Google and started looking at some inspiration, and I found a few images that might interest you guys and also might interest me as well. Other thing that I also did just before the stream was I went through every single part of the area, and instead of them being single blocks now, I've now started to group them together. So as you can see here, I've grouped this one together. I've grouped these 4 pillars together. I've grouped that surface there, these 2 pillars, and so forth, until so that it basically just makes it a lot easier. I see this back base right here. I have completely and utterly taken that and made it one big block by itself, and then I can just put it straight back into place with the magnets, which is awesome. So I've done that with all these areas. So the reason why I've changed everything to Forerunner is because we are actually going to be making a Forerunner map. Now, I've decided these staircases that we've got here, and I knew this was probably going to be a thing. These are going to be removed, and I'm actually going to make smooth ramps as opposed to this. It's going to make things a little bit harder down the line, because ramps are actually quite difficult to make. But they fit with the Forerunner theme, and I think it just makes things a lot better for us because we're not using as many blocks by using a ramp, whereas we are using here 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks just there in that one section. 11 blocks. And that's just one staircase. There's a staircase on the other side, and the staircases on both sides there and there. Here. There are a lot of staircases inside this map. And of course, because of that, it's gonna make it's gonna give us a lot of issues later on down the line, because right now we've already used 518 blocks. I don't think we're gonna hit our max kappa blocks, to be fairly honest with you, but I want to be wary and I want to be careful. So because the thing with Forerunner stuff is there's a lot that goes into making good looking Forerunner blocks. And I just, it's just one of those things that I want to think about. Now, let me take the music off for a second, because now I'm gonna budge on over now to the next screen. Okay, so on this screen, we have got some images from lots of different Halo games, and of course, obviously, just some concept art and some other stuff that other people had made. This particular one, as you can see on the bottom right side corner, it's actually 343's kind of artwork from the main campaign of Halo 4, I think, if I remember rightly. This is the Halo 4's campaign, I think. And I just kind of wanted to look at the different stuff that goes into making Forerunner style stuff. Now, this particular image isn't actually Forerunner; it's actually a UNSC vessel. But I wanted to have a look at it anyway because it's still going to give us a bit of inspiration and whatnot. Go on a second while I just actually get my chat up. I just completely forgot about that. So, looking at this image, one of the reasons why I chose it was just because of the wires and the lines that the floor have. And you got these structures, you got the structure at the top there that kind of really just, I really like it, and it's something that I might try and implement something similar to that in the very middle of our map. Now, it might not look exactly like the one that we're seeing right there, but I think it might be something that that could look really nice in the middle of our map. Now, the map that I'm working on is open right now. It's actually an outdoors map, but I'm actually going to be making it an indoors map, and that's one of the reasons as to why I was quite scared about my object usage. I want to be very careful because if I'm making an indoor map, then obviously I'm going to be using a lot more blocks than what I have currently. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, I've got about 20 of these pictures, but I'm not going to go massively in detail with all of them. I just want to have a quick look around and actually just look at a little bit of inspiration. Now, I can always go back to these images if I want to, just for the inspiration and stuff. And because I've been so stuck recently, I needed to go and do this because if you are creative and you understand, the whole aspect of creating something, you need to make sure that you do go and have a look at reference because unfortunately, although your brain does kind of know where to put things, sometimes it just needs that little bit of a boost. So this is one of the images that I chose, and I thought it was a really nice little way to start. Yes, it's not Forerunner, but it would be quite nice. There's a few little parts there that I wanted to do. Again, here this is actually Forerunner. This is a Forerunner map. I can't remember where this is from. I think it's from Halo 4 again in the campaign. I think I did like a lot of the Forerunner stuff in Halo 4. So this is something that I particularly like. I like the pillars on the left and the right hand side. Draws your attention to the middle door. I don't know whether we'll be making any doors. It might be a nice idea, maybe possibly on the side bases, maybe making some doors so that it feels like it's not just a closed off map when it's actually part of more than just what it is. So maybe a door would be quite nice and some pillars and stuff like that to really make it kind of stand out. But I think the most important thing to take from this particular image is the lighting. So if you have a look, it's almost like a ray of light from the top of the map. And I think that's a really, really sort of, it's quite iconic with Forerunner stuff, really, is this kind of really beautiful light scenario with all the different lines on the pillars and stuff. And it'll be very tricky for us to replicate that kind of thing because obviously the lights in our game in Halo 5 do cause quite a bit of our light map. So we have to be very careful with that. My phone's going off in the background. Okay, so this one I liked just purely for the fact that it's a top-down view of, you've got your light bridge here. I don't know if you can see the mouse. I think you can, but there's like a light bridge that's at the bottom of the screen if you can't see the mouse. And I think this is actually from Halo Wars. If I'm correct, I think this is actually from Halo Wars. But again, all of these you know, these lights going down this circle. But I really like this whole sort of circle idea. I think it's very, very nice. Now, bearing in mind that we're not just thinking about the map inside. I'm possibly thinking about making some windows. So if I'm going to be making some windows, obviously we want to have something behind that window to make it look like it's a realistic outdoors. I don't want it just to be the water. You know, obviously it just wouldn't look very nice. So I'm thinking maybe gotta really think about what I want to add if I am going to add windows to the outside of the map as well as the inside of the map. So we're going to think about that as well. There's obviously a lot to think about when it comes to making a Forerunner map in particular, and it's just, again, foam. God damn it. Okay, let's continue on. I really like that one. I think it's a really nice image. This is actually a concept art. I don't know who made this, but I think it's really beautiful. I especially like the rocks. Now I don't know whether that's I don't know if the rocks in particular on this image are actually whether it's like a still image and the rocks were falling down, or whether it's actually portrayed as rocks in actually staying and stuck in the midair. I think that would be a really, really cool idea. Is these kind of crumbling rocks, but they're kind of floating. I thought that was a really nice little touch, and so I was thinking about maybe doing something like that. Obviously, you've got your tree as well on the right hand side. Other stuff that I really like is the ray of light coming down on the Spartan. I mean, that's really cool. I don't even know I don't know if that's a Spartan or if that's a human, but either way, it's really cool. And then, of course, obviously, again, the light that bring the sort of just the whole concept of these pillars that draw your attention to this light source. And then, of course, obviously, these pillars are the thing that I really do like about Forerunner stuff is they're very symmetrical when it comes to placing things in a line, and I really like the pillars in that particular image as well. So, like I said, there's loads of stuff that I can go through here, and we can talk about. I did two years of photography in college, and you really start to analyze images and really start to think about things. And if you are going to be a creative, and actually make maps or make a image or whatever it might be that you're trying to do, piece of music or whatever it might be, you really have to think about everything. You've got to really, really sort of home in on the points that you want to make in your map. So next, this is actually from Halo 4 again, Halo 4 campaign. And again, the same sort of thing. You've got your pillars again, and you've got rocks as well. And the reason why I chose this was actually because of the rocks. And I was thinking, Forerunner stuff with the rocks is quite interesting. It's quite a nice sort of added extra to the to the Forerunner theme. So we've got that on the go. I'm gonna skip through that one. This I really like. This is one of my favourite images possibly, just because of how cool this hallway looks. I think it's very, very, very nice. I'm going to have to turn my phone on silent. Bear with me. Funny thing is, my phone has not been going off for ages. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when I start streaming, I actually completely forgot about it. Alright, that's on silent. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's keep looking at this image. Now, again, same thing with this. As you've noticed, the floor is kind of like a glass, but it's also got lines of white that really draw your attention towards the far off ramp that goes up. And again, even on the ceiling, you see these lines. They're just lines that go one way and then down the other way, and it's just straight lines, and they just draw your attention to that ramp. And I just love the design of this. I think it's fantastic. It's probably one of my favourite images in this collection. This is actually from, I think, Halo 5's campaign, but it's a concept art again. And because I remember actually doing this in part of the Halo 5 campaign. And yeah, this was quite an iconic part of the campaign, actually. So when Master Chief kind of grabs this circle thing in the middle and smashes it with his fist, if I remember rightly. But here, this is a slightly different concept. So one thing that you've noticed, again, you got your lines with the rooftops, but as you've noticed, the lines go into this kind of curved arch, which are really interesting. They're a lot different to normal Forerunner stuff. I think that's quite a nice, cool sort of concept. And you get your circles as well. In the middle, you got your big sort of circle ball, which is really nice with indents in there as well. And of course, you switch on the left hand side as well. But the thing that I like about this particular concept art is it's not just all white and white and black lines. It's kind of there's some really nice hints of blue in there as well, and I quite like the blue concept with the Forerunner stuff. On this particular image, now I think this is a concept of a Halo 4 campaign mission, but I'm not 100% sure. But once again, here this is you're starting to see a theme coming along here. You've got your pillars, your 2 pillars on either side, and of course obviously 2 pillars at the back. And as you can see, there's even more pillars further back as well. And obviously you've got your field of view. Obviously, as your field of view goes into the middle of the picture, you've got pillars after pillars, but the pillars get smaller and smaller and smaller and taller to the point where you can't even see a pillar. But again, here's another thing. Floating rocks. Once again, you've got these floating rocks, and they're not. In this particular image, you could almost feel like they are actually floating, whereas the other image before that we saw actually kind of felt a bit more like they were actually crumbling onto the floor. But this image it's quite plain and simple that these rocks are definitely floating, and it gives that sense of it's quite mystic. It's quite sort of unknown. We obviously, as a human race, we're not used to rocks that are floating. It's just it's a very strange and very odd thing for us, thing to happen. And you think of stuff like Avatar, for instance, there where it's kind of like you've got all of these rocks that are floating, and I really like that concept and that idea. Whether we'll be able to pull that off in Halo 5 Forge, I don't know, but we'll give it a go. One thing I also want to note again is the blue. The blue is the same thing on this one. You've got that beam of light in the middle that really draws your attention, and the reflections on the floor. That's one of my favourite parts of this particular piece. There's actually quite a lot of reflections on the floor that really, really stand out. Now, I'm going to stop sort of talking through most of these pictures now. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to maybe briefly talk about individual ones. This particular one is it's concept art from a Halo 4 mission. Again, I don't know why I've picked so many Halo 4 ones here, but these are ones that just kind of stuck out to me and I liked. And there was an iconic part of the Halo 4 campaign, one of the first missions, and I loved it so much. It kind of just gave me goosebumps just to see this incredible Forerunner landscape just come out of nowhere. It was great. And that's what this reminded me of. But if you have a look in the sky, look at this. Look, the actual Forerunner structures are above the clouds, which are just that's so unusual. I think that's like a city above the clouds. It's so cool. It's such a nice idea and concept. This really drew my attention. I don't even know what this is particularly from, to be honest with you. I'm sure there's a mission or something that this is in, because I swear I remember playing something like this before, but I'm not 100% sure. But the thing that I love just about this is just because it's quite a small encased area. It would be really nice and cool for some gameplay elements, and it just looks really nice. So I don't know whether I'll ever use this particular one in this particular app that we're working on, but I thought it was a really nice idea and a really nice concept. So moving on, this is all kind of like, this particular isn't actually Forerunner, this is actually UNSC. I think it is anyway. And I was getting some inspiration with like with the letters on the walls, and of course obviously you got your staircases and your floor, you got your little pits and stuff like that. The thing that I'm most interested in is the ceiling, is the kind of the things that are hanging off the wall, off the ceiling and stuff, and that kind of thing. So we got that kind of concept as well. This particular image, again, very Forerunner. I don't know if this is nothing to do with like the actual campaign, but I think this is an actual sort of concept art picture thing, and I like it. I think it's just a really nice, cool look at Forerunner life. So again, really nice image to look at. If I remember rightly, this was a concept art from, again, Halo 4. But yes, a really nice concept art. Again, you're looking at your pillars, you're looking at your blue. And I'm going to go back to this one in particular because I actually quite like a lot of the stuff in this concept art. This, I think, rather Halo 4 or Halo 5, I can't remember exactly which. Again, although it isn't actually full pillars, there are pillars on either side, and they're all symmetrical once again. So I think we get the picture. This particular image is Haven from Halo 4, possibly one of my all-time favourite maps. I absolutely love it. I think it's a fantastic map. And the remake on Halo 5 is very good too. But this is, in my personal opinion, one of the most striking Forerunner kind of structures, and I really like it. I just think it's a really, really beautiful piece of artwork. And I'm not going to say much more about this, really. Again, same thing, pillars. Even though it's not particularly the same kind of pillars, it's not really symmetrical as much, it's still very Forerunner, you can tell it is. I think this is a map called Monolith. I can't remember exactly the specifics, but I think it was Monolith. I never really played that much, but there was a few little Forerunner sort of elements to it I quite liked, and I just wanted to have a look at that as well. So I've got that as a piece of concept art as well for us. Again, from Halo. This is actually from Halo 5 Halo 5 campaign, if I remember rightly. And this is kind of one of the ender levels, if I remember rightly as well. That ring at the top of the picture is beautiful, really nice. We ain't got much more to go now, guys. I'm going to skip through as many of these as possibly can. Let's see now. This particular image is from Halo 3. Again, campaign. Just before you fight the Scarab. And you've got the big, massive Halo ring in the background. I don't know if that's... Yeah, that is the Halo ring, yeah. And then, obviously, you've got your Forerunner structures. Now, obviously, this is a bit older. This is, like, older Forerunner stuff. But it still shows you, sort of the whole repetition and the, sort of... the very strange shapes, and I think it's what always caught my eye with the Forerunner stuff. Again, Halo 3, and again, same repetition, all that kind of stuff. That was one of the very, very last missions of Halo 3. It was a great map, great mission. In fact, actually, that was the last mission, if I recall. And the final image is kind of like a Forerunner bridge. Which again, I really like the idea of, again, concept art from Assemble Studios, which I think was actually when they were working on sort of concepts for Halo Wars, I think. Yeah, so there you go. There's a bunch of different maps and different stuff that we've just looked at as inspiration. Now, I know that took us quite a while to look at, but I really wanted us to hone in there on quite a lot of the different ideas that we can take from that. So the one thing that, as you've noticed here, is you've got these pillars that I've already started to put in, and they kind of get closer and closer to the middle. That's the kind of, straight away, that's the first idea I was kind of coming up with, and that's kind of what I was going for. Obviously, these are going to be turned into actual proper cool looking pillars and not just single blocks. So eventually they will be better than what they are currently. Let me just, again, for some strange reason, I don't know why it keeps doing this. It's taking all of my stuff off and leaving it. So, that's a bunch of stuff that I wanted to catch you up on, and obviously I wanted to generally just get you up to speed with where I'm kind of going with this. I'm going to stop here because I actually I want to make this an actual episode. Because looking at inspiration and the whole reference is one of the most important parts of making a Halo map. And I'm going to be going back and forth looking at these images while I'm actually doing a lot of this map, and I'm really liking where this is going. There's still a lot more to think about. I'm still struggling with this left base here, and I'm also struggling with how to connect them up. So I've still got a lot to think about in terms of gameplay, in terms of fluid gameplay. I really am happy with the bases. The bases are my favourite part of the map so far. The whole sort of, the view from one side of the map to the other is really nice. You know, you've got this kind of fluid kind of sort of straight line gameplay, which I really like. It reminds me of old MLG maps, old MLG missions, and that's something that I really like. And there's enough cover there, I think, now already that will keep us going. We'll make that really nice. Obviously, we'll have something in the middle there as a power-up or as a power weapon. More than likely, the middle of the map is going to be an overshield. So it'll be kind of the whole idea will be to go and get that and grab that first thing. But I'm not sure. I mean, maybe putting that there might not be a good idea. Maybe a sniper rifle in the middle would be a better idea, and then an overshield on maybe one of the sides. We've really got to think about how this is all going to play off towards the end of the actual, you know, the actual particular map. Obviously got a lot more to do in terms of visuals and design, but it is coming along really nicely. And, you know, no map was ever made in a day, so, you know, it's just one of those. We keep going through, we keep trying our best to improve and make things better. And I'm sorry for talking so much in this particular video. I know we've not really done any Forge at all really today. I just wanted to show you a lot of things that I've been working on, and obviously show you my plans and my ideas for the future of this particular map. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you again on the next one, where we actually really start making some more adjustments to this Forge map. Alright, see you soon. We're going to get loud here, so turn down your volume.